Hi guys, it's just Anna, and today we have a book review. Today we're going to be talking about the book that made the beginning of my year so much better. I can't believe I took so long to read this book, and that book is The Selection by Kiera. I don't know if you can tell that I liked it. Yeah, I went a little overboard with the little stickers, but Kiera is a genius because I love this so much. You can tell by all the additions I added. This book takes place after the Fourth World War in the country called Ilea, which is basically North America, United States and Canada combined, and it's now called Ilea. Our main protagonist is America Singer. She is in a family of entertainers, singers, artists, because basically in Ilea everything is labeled by caste. So there are 8 castes, 1 being the highest, which is royalty, and 8 being the lowest, which is like the poor and the homeless. And America is a 5. She's like not poor, but she's not royalty, as you can see. She's kind of like a middle class, but a little bit lower. The royal family, Prince Maxon, has come of age, and it's now time for him to find his lawful wedded wife. So there is a selection being held. They pick out 35 girls to become part of this like competition, the selection, so he can pick out who's going to be his wife in the end. And of course, America goes to the selection to become part of this competition. But she's not really a big fan of this whole selection process. She doesn't like it, but she was basically forced to go. So she went, and this book is just drugs. This should be illegal. It was drugs. I read this in 2 sittings. It was so addicting. I couldn't stop reading at all. I couldn't stop. I thought this was so fantastic. I loved how it was so easy to get into the plot, and it wasn't complicated at the beginning. You just literally read the first page and already be into this book. I love how the chapters are so short and you feel like you're flying through the book, which you really are. And I just love this overall. I have nothing more to say. I've become speechless with this book. So if you haven't read this book, I recommend you leaving now because I'm going to go into the spoilers. So goodbye. Bye. Bye. Okay, hello. I'm guessing you've all read the book, and if you did, I hope you feel the same way as me and I'm not a completely lunatic right now, because I love this book. A lot of people hate the main protagonist, America, but I really liked her. Of course, she's stubborn sometimes, but you can't expect every protagonist to be perfect. I love her sarcasm, and her family was absolutely amazing. I loved her mom and her dad. I really connected with her dad, and her little brother, I wish he would have come out a lot more in this book, Gerard. I loved him. I thought he was so cute, and when they were saying goodbye to her when she was leaving for the selection, he broke my heart when he was like, "I love you, America." And I was like, oh my god, no. And May, I loved May so much. She reminded me a lot of my little sister because she's just like her. Like, literally, May is my little sister. It was really funny to read about her. So in the beginning, we kind of see how America's relationship with Aspen is, and at first I really liked Aspen. I thought he was so, I don't know, he made my heart skip a beat sometimes, and I don't know, there's something about him that makes me, he's hard to not like. I know a lot of people don't like Aspen, really a lot of people hate him. Don't get me wrong, I dislike him a lot in this book, but at the beginning, I don't know, there was something about him that just made me grip onto him. And when she climbed up the tree and he was like, "Hello, gorgeous," and I'm like, oh my god. But of course, as the story goes on, we find out that Aspen is a jerk for leaving her. I know he did it because of her. He wanted the best for her. He didn't want America to marry into a lower caste because he's a 6 and she's a 5. But still, like, she loved you and you just let her go because you wanted the best for her, but really she loved you and you just let her go. So she was brokenhearted as she left for the selection. So when America arrives at the selection and she meets all the other girls and they're like makeup for the makeovers and the pictures, I love how all the other girls were so stuck up and so excited about, oh, I could be a princess, and the makeup and the fame and the reality, everything, cameras on me, blah blah blah. And America was just like, oh my god, get me out of here. What am I doing here? I'm not like this. I love that because by seeing this cover you're thinking, okay, this is like a princess book, like she's all stuck up and she wants to be the princess, but no, she's actually really hates all this thing, and she feels like the castle is a cage And of course there's Celeste, which is like the mean one in the book, and she's such a bitch. I hate her so much. When she pulled America over to that corner and was like, "Take off your dress," I was like, what? No! What is wrong with you? I hated Celeste so much. She was bitchy for no reason at all, and I just hated her. But I was kind of expecting her to be a little bit more. I thought she was going to be in this book a lot more and being annoying, but she only got on my nerves 2 times in this book, when she did the thing to America, when she wanted to take her dress off, and when she spilled the wine down Chris's dress. I think it was Chris's dress. But oh my god, I think this whole caste system is really messed up, and so does America, of course, and all the lower caste people. Because there's these recent rebel attacks to the castle, because the people that aren't agreeing with the way the government's run there are these rebels that attack the castle every so often, and they get me so nervous because I'm like, oh my god, something's gonna happen. Max is gonna die, America's gonna get hurt, something's gonna happen. And these rebel attacks are divided, like the northern and the southerners, and the southerners are the ones that are deadly, and the northerns are the ones that only like mess up the castle and look around for stuff. I don't know, what I think about these rebel attacks, I think it's just people that want Ilea to be what it used to be when it was America. So I think it's them rebelling, and I think the king and the queen know what it's about. But Maxon has like no clue, and he doesn't know anything about it. It's just the caste system is so ridiculous, and how nobody's allowed to have sex before marriage, and like it's a rule. If they do it, they're in jail. They could die because of it. It's a rule. And they have curfews, and the lower caste system don't get birth control, so they can't control how many babies they have, and they're poor, so they have to feed more mouths, and they keep having babies, so it's frustrating. It's like they're the ones that should have birth control. They are the ones that are poor and can't feed many mouths. But back to the good parts of this book. Maxon and America together is just pure magic. When they first met and America was just screaming at him and being like, "Leave me alone, don't call me that, like get away," like everything. And then he was just like, whoa, like who is this chick? No, I've never been treated like this. I just love that, because it just when he was just like, well, I hope you find something in this cage worth fighting for. And that's like my favorite quote of this book. It just grabbed me right here and just ripped it out. And when they were having, I think, their first breakfast or meal together as like the whole selection, and the king, the queen, and Prince Maxon, and Maxon directly towards America asked her how the food is, and everyone was just like, he talked to her. Why her? And everyone, and I loved how he described it as a game of tennis. Everyone was just like back and forth during their conversation, and the bed, it was just so cute how he was like, well, if you lose, I want a date with you. I want to go around the gardens and have a little stroll with you. And she's like, well, if I lose, I want pants. And I thought that was so hilarious and so perfect and funny. I just loved everything about their relationship together, and how even when they weren't together and they were just miles apart, they would just wink at each other or tug on their ear, and they knew everything was okay. And I loved how before every like report or something nerve-wracking was gonna happen, they winked at each other, and the nerves just flew away, and it was so adorable. And Aspen just randomly appears, and I knew it was gonna happen. It had to happen at some point. The whole book couldn't be all lovey-dovey. There had to be a problem, and of course Aspen shows up as a guard. He's like, he was lifted by the draft, and the draft is like what comes, like, I think it's yearly, I don't know, where they recruit soldiers, and now he's a guard at the castle. And I was like, no, this is gonna be horrible. There's gonna be a lot of sneaking around. Every time Aspen and America were together, I was literally so paranoid. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna get caught. She's gonna kill them. She's gonna get killed. And he wasn't thinking straight. He's not only risking his life, he's risking her life as well. So he's stupid. He's really stupid about it. And snooping around isn't the solution. And I hate why he was all like, oh, I'm up for the challenge to fight for your heart. I'm like, what? No, that's not fair. Because Maxon doesn't even know there's a challenge. He doesn't know that he has to fight for her. He doesn't know. That's not fair. And he was like, oh, I'm up for the challenge. I just hated that. And it just got on my nerves. But I loved her little speech at the end when she was all like, I'm not choosing him or you, I'm choosing me. Yeah, I'm choosing me. And I was like, yeah, you go, girl. Another thing that she was really powerful at when the rebel attacks came the second time, I think, where they had to go, she had to go to the safe room where all the royals were, and the maids go somewhere else. So, but there was one particular maid that was always really scared, and she's like, no, you guys are coming with me. You're gonna be safe with me. And she took them there, and they're not allowed to be in that safe room because that's only for like royal important people. But when she got there, she was like, they're with me. I don't care what you say, they're with me. And when she got in there, the woman that directs all the selection, she's like, oh, good, help. You can do this and this and this. And then America was just like, oh, no, you bring your maids because I brought mine and they're sticking with me. And I was like, you go, girl. I was like, yeah, that was awesome. I loved the maids. Their character was so amazing. I loved how they were just so fun and like quirky and so bonding. They bonded with America all the time, and how Maxon would just appear and they would be bonding, and I found that so adorable. And I love how Maxon is always thinking about America. He's always looking at her, or even the slightest thing he always mentions her. And how in the one interview with Gabriel, he was like, one of the girls here, when we first met, she screamed at me, and he was like, oh, how dare she? And he's like, yeah, but I forgave her, and I plan on keeping her around for a long time. And I was like, oh my god! Just every little thing he said was so perfect. Maxon is perfect. Her first kiss was so awkward and embarrassing, and I loved how she was his first kiss, and he ruined it. No, she ruined it, but then they fixed it, and it was perfection. And of course, Marley, she is my favorite, one of my favorite characters. Marley is America's best friend, and she is so awesome and amazing. And I would have loved if she would have explained to America a lot more about her story, about why she can't leave. And I loved her so much. She was such a good friend, and I loved their little bonding. She reminded me of me and my best friend. Every time something would happen with the girls, they just looked at each other like, what the heck is going on, and laugh on, and I just loved them so much together. And another part I really enjoyed is when they were taking the pictures. Maxon was taking a picture with each of the girls for like this magazine article, and when it was America's turn, he would just make her laugh and tickle her, and I want those pictures, because those pictures must have come out so beautiful of them like laughing and having just an amazing time and looking at each other, and that was a picture perfect moment. Something that people don't address usually in the reviews is when Lady Janelle, she was one of like the first people that left in the selection, she left because she talked bad about America. And I knew it when they announced that she left, and then she said, oh, careful with what you say, and then she left. I was like, oh my god, she said something about America, and Maxon kicked her out. Oh my god. And that's when I was like, oh my god, love, love, love. Another quote I loved is when America, I think they were a party or something, or a report, and she was in this beautiful dress, and he was like, if you don't want me to fall in love with you, you'll have to put on uglier dresses or be in potato sacks, because she was so beautiful. And though I know America is so stubborn, but I loved her at the same time. But I've already read the second book, so I'm gonna make a separate book review about that. But this series, man, this series has gripped me, and it's not letting go. And I'm so thankful I read it, and it's now one of my favorite books. I recommend you all to read it. You have to read it or reread it. The second I finished this book, I was like, let's do this again. I want to feel everything I just felt again. And it's the first time I've ever read a book and said, I want to read this again, like right now. Like, I'm probably going to reread this again, like soon. I love it. All I do is watch the fan-made little trailers that they make of like Maxon in America. They're just so adorable, and I love it so much. I love it. So I hope you like this review. If you read this book, please comment below and tell me your favorite parts. No spoilers, please. Do not put spoilers in the comments, but please let me know what you thought about this book and if you liked it. I hope you liked this review. I'll see you next time. Bye. The cast under he's freaking this is love is in the air, people. Love is in the air.